I'm going to show you how a wax resist technique when doing watercolour painting. You can just use regular wax crayons or a candle. So if you start off by drawing a picture on your watercolour paper, using the crayons. When you're using a small amount of watercolour paper, it's a good idea to get some masking tape and just to tape it down to some cardboard or any kind of hard surface, and that stops the paper from popping up when you get it wet. Just makes it easier to work with. So you draw your image onto your paper, and then you want to get your, I'm going to do a watercolour in the background. So I'm going to use I'm going to do a blue background. I've made 3 different colours up that I'm going to use. So you start off by putting a bit of water into the compartment of your palette. You don't have to have a palette, you can use any kind of plastic tray or anything to mix your colours up. You don't need anything fancy. So you start off by adding some water, and then you get your paints and mix up your colours. So add some pigment to that water. And then that'll be ready to use for your wash. When you do a wash, it's best to use a wet on wet technique. So you start off by painting the background just with water, get it wet. Another tip actually, so you can either use your brush to fill up your palette with the water before adding the pigment, or if you're going to be doing lots of painting, I use a little pipette like this. So you can get your amount of water and just squirt it into your tray. So much quicker than using your brush to fill it up with water. So I've wet the paper now with some water, and now I've made these up prior to doing this, so it's quicker. Use the darker colour at the top. Change colours now, put this one in the middle. And you want to make sure you've got all your colours that you're going to use in the wash made up beforehand, because you need to work quite quickly. The paint starts drying, and if you make one colour up and then leave it to go and make your other colour, then it might have dried by the time you get to it, and then it's hard to blend. You'll get a line on the page. You won't be able to blend the colours nicely like this. There you go. So when it's dry, the paint does come off where the wax is as it dries, and then you might end up with something like this. And this one I used a candle to make the lines. So have fun!